Ram 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 भगवान श्री योगी राम सूरत कुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी राम सूरत कुमारार्पणमस्तु। One more session of Nama Sankirtan for us to be grateful to Bhagavan especially the Nama chanting done in the evening, the twilight, is especially powerful. This is the time all the gods will be engaged in their own worship of the divine. And their blessings will also add. Now, we'll have to recall one or two experiences of the devotees. And by recalling, let's relive those experiences and benefit from the grace. Sri T.S. Vishwanathan, the brother of Justice Arunachalam and Dr. Ramanathan. Everybody knows Justice. Many people know Dr. Ramanathan. They have another brother, Dr. T.S.S. Rajat, is also a devotee of Bhagavan. And Shri Balasubramaniam. These four brothers have been very devoted to Bhagavan. But Shri T.S. Vishwanathan, in the early 90s, though his brothers were coming to Bhagavan, visiting him often, he was not particularly drawn to him. Once something happened to him because of which he was drawn to Bhagavan. He was one of the directors of a company which manufactured what they call the grease guns used for the compressors for tractors. They were the major supplier to many people in tractor business, and they were also popular for their honesty, for the flawless standard material, the tools that they produced. But one day, when the directors were talking among themselves, Shri T.S. Vishwanathan had a phone call. Now, one of the local companies which was doing this tractor business, they had a complaint to make. They said The tools that you have supplied, the grease guns that you have supplied to us, we find them defective. The inspector who examined is not permitting it. The tractor is found, the tractor is not defective, but this grease gun, what exactly is that? We know in a machine, different parts of the body, sometimes they have to move against each other, which causes friction. And friction in turn causes the wear and tear of the machine. With the result, its efficiency becomes less and less. So they use this grease guns for the compressor. It was okay until then, but this particular time, they said 3 such tools they had supplied were found defective, because of which they could not dispatch the tractors. So they demanded 3 fresh ones to be supplied immediately. Shri T.S. Viswanathan was very upset. How could this be? He was in charge of the production and sales. He was thinking, how could this be? Because he knew the control manager was honest. He also demanded quality. So there has never been any complaint so far. But so how could this happen all of a sudden? So he wanted to go in person to find out what was all wrong about. So when he reached that place, the company, now before that, on his way, naturally this worry was written all over his face. And he happened to meet his brother, Dr. T.S.S. Rajan. As soon as Dr. Rajan learnt the problem of his brother, he gave a small photograph of Bhagwan, Yogi Ram Sarat Kumar, and he himself put it in the pocket of Shri Viswanathan. Dr. Rajan said, it's okay, you may not particularly care, but please just keep this photograph of Bhagwan in your pocket. You would see how your problems get solved. Now, Shri T.S. Viswanathan needed grace very badly. He acknowledged it. So he just put that picture in his pocket. When he visited the company which complained, he found out very quickly out of the 3 defective grease guns, 2 were not from their company. So he dismissed them. But the 3rd one was truly theirs. And it was, according to their complaint, defective. But he soon found out that they had not operated the valve that would release the air pocket. So there was an airlock, and if there is such an obstacle to the flow of the oil, the lubrication oil, there is a provision there for releasing the air pocket, the airlock. And they had not operated it. So immediately he taught them. Somebody had missed out on that, so he pointed out, just see, you people have not released the airlock. And that is why there is no flow of the oil to the compressor. So they were very happy. The company which complained immediately understood it was a quality product, as it always has been. And they were very happy. You see, that was the time Shri Viswanathan's company was expecting payment. But instead they got only the complaint. And that was an added worry to him. But now, after he pointed out their mistake in releasing the provision, they were ready to give the payment also. So very soon, as soon as he got the photograph of Bhagwan, he found his problems solving one after the other very quickly. And that gave him faith in Bhagwan. He was not even chanting his name. He merely put the photograph in his pocket. Even the payment was released by the other company. He was very impressed with Bhagwan. And after that, he became an ardent devotee of Bhagwan. He started to chant his name. So you see, on the outset, this may be a very worldly problem, but it induced faith. And he began to chant the name, the divine name. There's another story. One Radha Krishnan, the owner of Asalambika near Nagarkovil, Justice had visited Kanimatam. On his way back, this Radha Krishna was requesting him to visit his showroom. He was requesting again and again, and what was more, though Justice did not have time, Radha Krishna stood on the road waiting for the car. At that time, Radha Krishnan shared a particular experience with Justice, and Justice has written this. Radha Krishnan said that he was running this escort tractor business. In the beginning, it was hardly 1 or 2 tractors supply to the companies, to the customers, but slowly, he built up the business by the grace of Bhagwan, and then it came to the state where he was going to dispatch 5 tractors on the same day. But then it developed a problem. The 5 tractors were ready for dispatch, but they had to test those tractors before sending it to the customer. And when they tested, they found, to their dismay, that the compressor was not working. The lubrication oil was not building up enough pressure so that the airlock would be removed and there will be a free flow of the oil and there will be sufficient pressure, oil pressure. The compressor would work and the tractor would be able to move. Now this was a problem and everything was getting ready. They were all very excited. But suddenly this problem developed. So immediately Radhakrishnan phoned up to the manufacturers of those compressors in Delhi, asking them to send 5 fresh ones immediately by plane. Even after arranging, he was still very worried. He was full of tension. And naturally, of course, the only refuge that he knew was Yogiram Suratkumar. This happened in 95. So immediately he rushed to Thiruvannamalai to have darshan of Bhagwan, to pray to Bhagwan. There should be no obstacle in dispatching those tractors to the customers. Bhagwan took him in, and when Radhakrishnan began to narrate, after he narrated everything, Bhagwan smiled and raised both his hands and said, "There will be no obstacles for the flow of this lubrication fluid everything has been set right, the tractors can go to the customers. There will be no obstacles. There will be no obstacle. After pronouncing this, after blessing Radhakrishnan, he just turned to one side and then he pointed out something to Radhakrishnan. What was it? There were lines and lines of those big ants, those black big ants. And Bhagavan, looking at them, said, Radhakrishna, these ants are all dangerous. Radhakrishnan did not understand what the connection was, because he was giving a blessing for the tractors to be dispatched in the right condition to the customers so that their popularity would not suffer. And then Bhagavan was adding this, pointing out, everybody has seen this big black ant. They are harmless. It's only when they bite, we put our hand, we do something deliberately and then we get bitten by them. Otherwise they are harmless. Here Swami was saying they are dangerous. What could be the connection? He was not able to make out. Then he rushed out. In any case, he wanted to know how everything was going here. Bhagavan had declared already that the problem was set right. So as soon as he phoned up, the chief mechanic, who had come back to retest it, he tested first time and reported the defect of the compressor, and now after going back home, something would not let him rest. Some prompting from inside. He had to come back and redo the testing. So when he came back, he looked at the compressor and then he removed, suddenly it struck him to remove the rubber tube, the connection, the rubber tube that was connected to the compressor. And as soon as he removed the rubber tube, he found the rubber tube full of those black ants. So many of them, it was totally blocked by them. And then immediately he pulled them out. He emptied the rubber tube completely, and then the compressor worked beautifully and everything became all right. So this was the news from the chief mechanic, and Radhakrishnan knew instantly in a flash, here Bhagavan saying, these black ants are dangerous. So this is what he was referring to. And he also said that it was set right, whatever was the defect, it was set right, and there would be no more blocks. How could Bhagavan know? He did not know anything about the tractors. He did not know anything about the compressor. At least that's what we think. How did he know? These ants were causing the block, and therefore there was no enough oil pressure to work the compressor. The Upanishads say, the one who knows that, the Supreme, knows everything. So it was not difficult for Bhagavan to know instantly what was wrong with the machine. In fact, in the beginning of the ashram, we had huge cement boxes which had to be lifted up to the ceiling. So the then trustee, Mani, was frantic. He was searching for a crane, a local crane, so that all these boxes, cement, heavy cement boxes, could be lifted to the ceiling. And every time he sent word, the local crane owner said that he had 2 cranes here, but they were not working. They were defective. And finally, at the insistence of the then trustee, the owner, the crane owner came with the crane, but he said, Swami was seated there. I was a witness to all that was happening. He brought the machine, the crane, and then he apologized. Though he had brought the crane, it was not working. What could he do? Then Bhagavan asked him, where was the defect? Mr. Karunakaran, the owner of the crane, he pointed out that particular part. Then Bhagavan stood up, walked up to the machine. He put his right hand over that. Just for a minute or maybe a few seconds. And then he took his hand off and he told the crane owner, now you operate and see. And to the delight and surprise, to the wonder of everyone around, it started to work. And of course, the crane owner became a devotee of Bhagavan. So you see, it is nothing to them. It's just a mere will. If Yogi Ram Surat Kumar should think that the machine should work, it would start working. It is the will of God. But he should will it. And for him to will anything, we have to appeal and invoke grace. We have to touch his heart by our invocations. And this Asalambika Radhakrishnan had another interesting thing to say. When he visited the ashram recently, a few months back, he had come here with his wife. And then I asked him why he was here. He said he had a problem again. Some enemies were giving him trouble. And then he said he could do nothing about it because once before, when he had this problem, after Mahasamadhi of Bhagavan, he went to before Mahasamadhi of Bhagavan. After visiting Bhagavan, he had gone to visit Paramacharya. He had his darshan, and then Paramacharya asked him, was there any problem? Then Radhakrishnan said, yes, my enemies are giving me trouble. I want to give back nicely. But then Paramacharya said, don't do that. If they express their enmity towards you and they give you trouble, just leave it to God to take care of it. You don't entertain enmity towards them. It would land you in further trouble. You will suffer even more. The karmas will take care of the doer. You do not take up punishment in your hand. Even your entertaining enmity towards them will cause you more harm. Do not do that. Leave it to God. So when he came here, he said, Amma, I can do nothing about it. I have to leave it to Bhagavan to work it out. Because Paramacharya said that to me. I said, it is an advice for everybody. When somebody does something against you, in order to bandy you, do not retaliate. Retaliation will cause more harm. It will invite more trouble. It will invite harm upon yourself. The very karma that people do will punish them and correct them. The punishment is meant only for correcting them, putting them in the right path. That God will do in His own time, and then it will be very effective. But if we take it in our hand, it's again we are creating more bad karmas for ourselves, for which we have to suffer again. And what is more, enmity, any feeling of enmity, there will be no benefit from it. Because the law of karma is relentless. One word of praise, everything that we do will come back to us. If you have one word of praise for somebody, please know that this word of praise will come back to you one day. Not necessarily from the same person who received it, it could be from someone else. But the karma will be paid back. And similarly, if you have one word of abuse for somebody, just one word, you can be sure it would get registered. In the cosmic register, there's a giant computer at work which keeps the account of everybody. They know, the computer knows what you are thinking. The computer knows the words that you speak and the deeds that you do. Everything gets registered there in your account, in the giant universal computer. And then accordingly, the joys and sorrows of life would come back to you. If you have only love to give to everybody, know that only love would come to you. But it would happen in the next birth. For some reason, God has arranged this way so that the world will go on for the continuity of His Leelas. The karmas are paid back only in the next birth. Some of them, of course, would give result in this life itself, but many of them you will have to face only in the next birth. So you see, there is an account and there's a calculation. And that is why we have to be very, very careful, even in our everyday life. What we say, that we must see to it that we don't hurt people. If you give sorrow to somebody, the same sorrow would come to you at your most vulnerable moment. It will strike you, giving you the same agony that you gave to someone else. So we should remember this law by which God runs the whole cosmos. The only relief from the fate, and fate is nothing but these karmas paying back to us, good and bad karmas, coming out as joys and sorrows of life. So knowing that, we have to get reconciled to the present day situation. But there is relief. The relief would come only from the divine, because the divine has created, by its will, has created this situation because of our own account, our collective karma, the collective karma of the world has invited the present day situation, and the relief must come only from the divine. So all that we have to do is remember God, remember His name, and keep on appealing to His generosity, to His boundless grace. One concession is Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's divine consort, Sharadamani Devi, said, in Kali Yuga, in this dark age, if the thoughts are sinful, you don't get paid for them. The law of karma is such for Kali Yuga that the thoughts, because of sinful thoughts, we don't have to suffer the effects of karma, but If the thought should take the form of a word or an action, you can be sure it will bounce back to you. So let's remember all this and know the purpose of life. The purpose of life is God. The purpose of life is constant remembrance of God. No other purpose, no other goal for life. And so let's keep on remembering God. Yogi Ji said, remembering the name is remembering God. And he also said, it's only while you remember God you truly live. Other times you are dead. Even though there's breathing in the body and you go about the activities of life, you are still a dead man, a dead being. So let's remember the name of God, any God for that matter. Your Ishta Devata. But let's keep chanting the name, because remembering the name is remembering God. And then keep on praying for whatever we want. Because the ego is active, there will be so many things that we want in life. So you can keep praying and praying, but God would give whatever you pray for only in His own time. This is what Yogi Ji said. Bhagavan said a few times, a master, a great master, who has become one with God. He is like the wish-fulfilling tree. There is what we call the divine Kalpataru, a divine wish-fulfilling tree under which whatever you think will happen immediately, instantly. If you think that you want nice dishes, they would appear instantly. If you want a comfortable bed, it would appear before you instantly, it would materialize. But then the human mind being what it is, if you should think out of fear, what if a tiger should come? A tiger would materialize, and what's more, it would pounce upon you. Because you would fear the tiger, and then you would think, my God, it's going to get me, and it will get you. But so Yogi Ji said, though the great masters are wish-fulfilling trees, there is one difference between the divine Kalpataru and the Guru. He said a Guru or God would give anything at all, not instantly, but only when they will it. In their own time they would give. They would choose the time by themselves, the time that would do you most good. And what is more, if you think of a tiger, this wish-fulfilling tree is Guru, who cares for your welfare. And so he would not give you something that is harmful, no matter how much you want it. So that's the difference. This is what Yogi Ji said, that we are Kalpatarus, but we will give you anything that you want only in our own time. It's only when I think, when I choose, I will give you what you want. Now that Kalpataru, with his boundless compassion, is here before us, with his raised hand, and there's a constant flow of grace. So in the present situation, all that we can do is take refuge in the divine name.